with all the offline. This new patch draft, I think you want to lock down your off.
I think also when you lose that convincingly with a PA on your team last game, maybe it's time to just change it up a little bit. You never know though. Peter has been known for being very strong in his opinions. Maybe he's feeling stubborn. Nope, there we go. Centaur.
This is okay. This is the adjustment that I'd expected to make, and I like the Centaur because again, this is the same thing that we saw in one of the series yesterday. Centaur's just he's an easy hero to play right now. He's a hero that you give him a little bit of space in the very beginning of the game. His item progression is very smooth. His power curve is such that even if he gets a little bit behind, he can still contribute from a little bit ahead. He feels very powerful. He's a perfect way to get an offlane player that might have had a bad game right back into the series. Oh, yeah. Oh,
okay.
Man. That is good. Yes. Okay. I just want to take a minute and talk about how much Yunus has grown as a player over the last year. Like, this guy was always known as somebody that could have a huge game impact. He actually played on previous incarnations of NiP with Era. But the knock on him was always that his hero pool was relatively limited. He was a guy that was like a niche Slardar player. He was like a niche Axe player, a Clockwork player for a long time. But you know, in any individual patch, he'd really be maining 3 or 4 heroes. And in competitive play, that can be very, very limiting. He captained the Final Tribe for a period of time last year. And I believe there was a stretch of games where he played like 30 different heroes in a 40-game stretch. He has become so much more versatile as a player, and it's exactly that versatility that allows them to dip back for something like a Magnus, which I think makes their second phase very, very scary. You see, NiP feels like they have to ban that PA. They cannot go up against a PA Magnus.
I think it's interesting to bring that up because after Johansen Van having such a great first and second game, and then you look at what happened with 33, it's interesting because we talked before about giving the guy having a hard time an easy time in the game to get him back on course. And it's like TFT, because they've seen what Jonas can do, they're trusting him more with this Magnus pick. They're saying you could carry the game with this pick, while NiP are gone, this is safe 33. Yeah. You can easily win your lane with this. Whoa. Damage mitigation build incoming. Look at this Centaur plus Spectre.
Well, I want to talk about something very same concept that we talked about Medusa from the last game. Is it possible that all these agi carries like Medusa and Spectre that we've talked about as these late game monsters, and you've got to pull them through the mid game, they're going to do nothing for you in lane, etc., etc. Is it possible with all the buffs, Wraithband, with the buff, the option to go early BKB, are these heroes actually much stronger in the mid game in this patch? And more, I'm thinking that the answer is yes.
Oh, it's a fair point to assess. It does beg the question of whether TFT want to bid low in this case. Basically get something that by 10 minutes is just prowling around, getting kills and getting towers.
Yep. I will say also that the strength of the Dazzle and the Centaur in lane is a big reason that you feel like you can pick Spectre and not get punished for it here.
That's true. At the same time, TFT, they have to go for Phoenix. They can go for something like a Chen, for example, that I know this team loved in the past. Because with heroes like Dazzle already on the board, it just mitigates your effectivity to find kills early on. So they have to go for the Phoenix.
The other thing that I like is I like mobility against the Spectre now a lot more, because remember that they nerfed the radius on the Desolate. So as long as you have these heroes that are going to be able to play across the fight, are going to be able to use things like dive, reposition themselves, it's a lot easier now to cut down on the damage output of that.
Next, we do see the attack speed of Lina to deal with that egg, but immediately the tiny, new tiny as well, because the avalanche change makes this a very different hero.
Yeah, I haven't seen enough of this hero. I think it's really strong here. I think it's particularly against the Lina.
I agree, because I think the biggest thing to assess here is while you can like Yules in the middle of an avalanche, the big difference that was kind of nerfed Tiny indirectly is that with the avalanche change, you can actually beat KB when you get avalanche now. But look at their side, right? Lina might eventually go to beat KB. Spectre is not going to build one, and Centaur most definitely won't either.
See, I actually, you say that, and I think you're right here. I think, mark my words, as this patch goes on, I think you're going to see games where Spectre goes like quad Wraithband treads BKB. I think you are going to see that, at least not often, but the power of the stat items on those heroes is so big that when you have the right ensemble around them, when you have like an ogre or something, I think Spectre.
Quite possibly. Dazzle not too bad.
I don't think you don't have like a steroid hero there here to do that. So Spectre's not going to do that in this game.
I mean, the lane's not bad.
I think you're going to see that in the patch.
I think the lane's not bad here for NiP, right? Spectre Dazzle combo, because the poison touch with the dagger, you can run people down and do a lot of damage.
Now that's kind of a thing we don't talk about in Spectre drafts nearly enough is when you look at the 3 heroes around him in the draft, you're not worried about the Spectre getting abused in lane like you would ordinarily. Lina is such a strong, mid lane lockdown. They can, again, worth saying, probably not going to happen here, but they have run this Lina in the support role. You could still see Dazzle Core. Love the Juggernaut, though. This is, again, the Final Tribe going back to Frost's ultimate comfort hero and showing the same kind of potential for early push that nearly knocked them out of the first game and that convincingly won them the second.
Definitely a hero that can deal with what's appearing in NiP's side so far. Of course, you use the Blade Fury in lane against the Centaur. And then when you get late game, this is the type of hero that can build into a Silver Age and justify it against the Spectre. What is the response, though?
This is... You have a lot on the table here, and I think you use some of your reserve time to talk about it, because you can still bump Dazzle into a core. You could bump Centaur back into a support. Same with Lina. You want to pick up another offlaner here. The Lina could still be a support. You got a lot of options on the table, and you are still worried. This is a tempo lineup. The Final Tribe. Screw around, it's still the draft. Yep.
About this fun hero appearing.
Absolutely beautiful. Okay. And you still, again, we're not gonna completely know who's playing what. I think this is gonna still be a core position Lina and a 3 position Necrophos.
Could be. And then the 4 position Centaur. But like we said, you got that flexibility either way. There you go. It's actually going to be a Lina 4.
Oh, it's going to be fun. It's going to be... Oh, wow. This is going to be Necro mid.
Yeah. It's not a bad hero here, especially seeing it's going to be up against the Tiny. The Avalanche is still going to be frustrating, but like we said, with the changes to it, you can now, of course, start healing. You can keep running away the whole time.
You can use your Shroud, right?
Yeah.
And toss damage is physical. Okay.
There are ways to deal with it. I think the other interesting thing here is because the Avalanche change, it's harder for Tiny to get that toss back to tower scenario by using Avalanche first, because you can start moving towards creeps and further away from him.
Yeah, they are gonna go with this Lina Centaur laning combo that you called, that I really like. That the Dazzle Spectre laning combo is really good, and if the interaction between Ghost Shard and the Toss Avalanche combo is as I think, Tiny's never going to have kill threat on the Necrophos. So I think that this is a game where TFT are trying to win on sort of tempo and lineup comp, and NiP is trying to win on lane.
We'll see how it goes, because I feel like you're right in that NiP, you looked at last game like, okay, we just won a lane and then won the game in the mid game. So maybe if we just win the lane for Spectre, he can do the same thing.
Yeah, and I think that I think that they're looking at that as, look, we may not know based on the newness of the patch whether or not those lanes were going to go as they were supposed to, but yeah, the fact is